Hi guys, my name is Igor and I'm the co-founder of Amazonia PPC agency. We've been helping Amazon brands scale since 2016. In this video, I'll be talking about general campaign optimizations. I'll try to cover some of the most common questions in terms of campaign optimization in general. The video is going to be divided into sections, so feel free to jump to the section that is most interesting to you. Okay, so the first one is that very often we have different placement depending on the environment. So you can maybe have high CPCs on top of search and then mid-range CPCs on rest of search, but lowest on product display pages or PDP. Now, what you can do is that you can slowly start to increase. There are also placement calculators, but you can also slowly increase the placement adjustments for certain placements. But in general, what I tend to do and advise every seller that asks this question is to split your campaigns per placement. It's granular. It will maybe increase the number of campaigns that you're using, but it gives you a complete control of what's happening. So to do that, I call that the placement isolation. So you increase the placement modifier to, I don't know, 400, 300, 500, you name it. And by that, you block the other two placements. There's a video I recorded how to do that, so you can reference it. That goes to the second question, how to avoid a certain placement. For example, I've seen that some of the products perform best on product display pages. Some of them, I saw that, for example, top of search is having great conversion rates, lowest CPC. That's also an option. So in that case, you want to drive most of the traffic, if not all, to your top of search. Now, to determine which one is best for you. Obviously, top of search most of the time has the best conversion rates, while the rest of search and product display pages very often have a lot of exposure. Rest of search is sometimes really a balance between the two, between the top of search and product display pages. So for example, if you're aiming to improve your conversion rate and have, in that case, you should have single keyword campaigns. You should create single keyword campaigns with a high top of search modifier to exclude the traffic to rest of search and PDP. You do that just because you have a highest conversion rate on top of search. So you want to maximize that. So it's the best bang for the buck. You will get most out of your ad spend for the goal of increasing your organic rank for those keywords. Now, if you aim to slightly more reach in terms of impressions and clicks, then you should focus on product display pages and rest of search, depending on, again, I always try to look first at the conversion rate between the placements and then all the other things like cost per click. Now, if you have a campaign in exact match with 10 keywords, I don't recommend going more than that, but if you have 10 keywords in your exact match campaigns, then the placement adjustments can become tricky. For example, if you lowered your bids to, say, 10 cents on all the exact match keywords and you have a top of search modifier like, I don't know, 400, then when you start to optimize bids on your keyword level, then it kind of becomes time consuming, because when you update the bid like 2 cents because of the modifier, it's not actually 2 cents, but it's what's the math? You do the math. So it gets tricky. The way to overcome this is, if you see that certain keyword is having better performance, sorry guys, my brain's kind of slow, better performance than the others, then I should isolate that keyword and concentrate on it separately, while the other guys will be left in the old campaign. Now, quickly around structuring campaigns. So what I've been seeing while doing the audits are how to structure the auto campaigns properly for the future growth. There are many ways to do that. There are also those catch-all auto campaigns that everybody loves. We'll touch on defensive campaigns and which bidding strategy overall to use, fixed, up and down, or down only. Now, structuring the auto campaigns, you can go really by default and add all match types in one campaign, then run that for several weeks or several months and see what's working and what's not. The downside to that is that, for example, if you optimize placements, then you optimize placements for all the match types inside. So the close match, loose match, substitutes, and complements. So if when you boost the placement, you don't actually know which one's going to perform correctly and which out of those four actually drive the current placement stats that you're seeing. So it's kind of really a gray area how to do that. Now, I've seen many auto campaigns structured that way that have amazing performance. So that's okay. If that's the case, use that. Only do your search term analysis and add negatives where necessary. But the best option would be, again, as granular as possible. So one auto campaign only with close match type, one for loose, one for substitutes, one for complements. That gives you absolute control over placements, over search terms, and the performance and bids. Now, there's that famous catch-all auto campaign where you set your auto campaign. You can, for this type of campaign, you can put all of the match types in one campaign, and the basic structure for this one is just you set some low bids. If your average CPC is, I don't know, 70 cents for this one, this type of campaign, you put like 5 or 10 cents bid, and you let it run. You almost always get amazing ACoS. Really low spend, high sales. Okay, not high volume of sales, but you know the ACoS, the return is really good. The second step to this is to add multiple tiers of catch-all auto campaigns. So you set up one to be at 10 cents, you set up another one to be at 15, another one at 20, another one at 30. I wouldn't go more than that in this example, then you're going to go pretty close to your average CPC that you have on your other campaigns. Because please note, if you have that, maybe I should have added that to another slide, but data that we see in Amazon is not always 100% accurate, and they kind of really explain to us that if you have a CPC of 70 cents, very often I hear people saying like, my CPC is 70, like they're paying 70 cents every click, which is not the case. That's an average. So it could be that you paid, I don't know, 40 cents per click in, I don't know, 5 or 10 clicks, and then you had a few huge ones, but the average is the same. So pay attention that with these auto campaigns, you don't want to go too close to what you actually have on average. So average of 70 can be even 60 or 50, and it can go up depending on your bidding strategy. I'll cover in a second. Okay, let's do that now, and then we will go to defensive campaigns. So bidding strategy to use. Fixed bids means that if you set up a fixed bid of $1 or pound or whatever you use, it doesn't mean that you're gonna pay each click one bid. That the more precise way would be, precise name would be max bid in terms of fixed. But you don't, with fixed bids, you don't let Amazon play that much with what you're willing to bid. So if you're just new, starting with a new campaign or even starting with a new account, I would always go with fixed bids, because up and down only relies on Amazon's data and what do they know about your brand. But if you're new, they don't know nothing about your brand. So for the first month or two, I would go with fixed bids, and then after I see the data, I can switch to down only. I'm not a big fan of up and down because you cannot control that, but you can do that on purpose. For example, put a up and down on some auto campaign that you want to just go crazy with it, discover new search terms, and just if you don't have enough data, you don't have enough traction, you can then play with up and down. But be careful when using up and down not to mess with the placement adjustments too much, because up and down can increase your bid by 100%. So if you use up and down with a bid of $1, it can bid $2 per click for any bid auction for a keyword. And if you add to that placement modifier with a modifier of, I don't know, 100, then you will end up with a end bid of $4 instead of one. So it can get really complicated. So use it wisely. So yeah, down only is for established campaigns, fix is for starting and for launches, and up and down is when you experimenting and have a solid historical data with Amazon, and then we just want to switch and see how things are going. Now, the defensive campaigns. Let's talk a little bit about that. So the thing with the defensive campaigns, those can be product targeting campaigns. Those can be sponsored display campaigns. Those can be even keyword campaigns. That's basically branded campaigns. So we're not going to cover those right here. So you should have your branded campaigns, definitely, because if you're not bidding on your brand name, somebody else will. I will at least take some part of your share. Defensive campaigns are mostly created to be used with sponsored products, product targeting, and display targeting. What you do is you're actually creating a campaign with all your products as an ad and all your products as a target. So you're actually showing ads on your own products. I recommend splitting these defensive campaigns by product type. So if you're selling jeans, all the jeans together, advertising on all the other jeans, and then if you're advertising sweaters, I would group sweaters. You can combine that if you want to upsell, but that obviously would do that intentionally. But and just for the sake of just showing off your brand, that's also a valid strategy. But I love to keep it on a product family basis, because I can then easily control what's showing up. I don't want to, the chances are that on your jeans ad, your competitor selling jeans is going to show up, not somebody selling flip-flops. What's the logic? So that's why I like to use that. So you use that for sponsored display and for sponsored product. What you get with that is a sponsored display is going to appear under the buy box, and sponsored product is going to appear elsewhere on the page below the listing, and then down below before the reviews and stuff. So definitely use both of them and increase the bids to a maximum level. These campaigns sometimes operate at very low ACoS, like 15-20%. Sometimes it's 60 or 70, depending on your category. But nevertheless, I don't recommend optimizing these type of campaigns, because if you optimize them and you lower the bid, then you're actually letting some competitor go to your listing and show their ad on your product page, which is not a good thing, especially if you are not as good as them. Okay, PPC product launch. This is getting serious. So a lot of debate here, a lot of questions, but I've summed it up as these 5. So one of the biggest and very often asked question is, how much will it cost me to do a product launch? Well, it's basically as a question related to how much money a car would cost me, depending on the car, obviously. But there's a calculator that you can use. I've shared that in a previous video. It's pretty spot on in terms of estimating the product launch budget. So the thing is, how much money can you invest? That dictates how important keywords you're going to target. If you're going to target high search volume keywords, mid search volume, or low search volume long tail keywords, because very often we are not able to see the correct cost. If you do your research as you should in Helium 10 Cerebro and pull up an estimated Amazon PPC maximum suggested bid for keywords, if you aim to be top 5, top 6, top 7, that's going to be way higher than that. Very often twice, or if not 3 times higher than the estimation, both in Helium 10 and in the Amazon campaign budget, campaign builder itself. So it's an estimation. You can never be sure, but if, for example, if you use my calculator and you see that maybe you estimated that you have $2,000 for a product launch, and you see that what you had in mind as a strategy or whatever, somebody who's helping you, but if you had in mind to spend $2,000 for a product launch on a keywords, and you realize that the results that you want to accomplish actually is going to cost you 500 per day, then you need to reevaluate your budget or reevaluate your strategy. So use that product launch calculator that I shared. So it's really a game-changing calculation that you need to perform before a product launch. So nobody can advise you that over a chat or a message over WhatsApp. You need to really dive deep into that, or I don't know, hire a consultant for that. The next one we're going to cover is which campaign types should I use in a product launch. This is somewhat tied to the first question too, because let's cover the general. In general, I would always go with the single keyword campaigns in exact match. That's for ranking. You want to push that because establishing an organic rank is most important thing. And if you do that during the honeymoon period, then it's going to be much quicker, much easier than afterwards. If you skip to my honeymoon period, then it's going to take too much. You won't have that exposure. Also pay attention on when do you actually select a live date of your product for a product launch. If you do that, if you skip to do that carefully and calculate the product launch date, then if, for example, your product live on Seller Central starts today and your real product launch starts in a week, you're losing a week of data because it's gonna started to appear live on Amazon. So that's very important thing to note. So campaign, I would start with exact match campaigns, and then I would back that up maybe after a week with a phrase match campaign, or maybe depending on results, I would add additional sponsor products exact match campaigns with several keywords inside, not more than 5, depending on your budget, of course. But I've seen great results having 4 to 5 keywords targeted in a single keyword campaign, just going for the organic ranks. Everything that I've ever say in my videos goes that you need to have your listing optimized for conversions. So that's a number one priority before you even start selling anything, being it a pencil, garlic press, or anything. But you should use PickFu for that. You should use IntelliView for that. There are options to test your products. You can ask your friends which one would they select, but use these. Invest in PickFu, invest in IntelliView to know your product before your product launch. So yeah, later on you could add even like after a month, I would add maybe a broad match campaign, but really be careful with the search term and negating stuff. And also an auto campaign is pretty good. Auto campaign can be added maybe even 2 weeks in. Product targeting campaign is very, very important during the product launch. It doesn't affect your ranking for those most important keywords that you selected, like top 4 or top 5 keywords you're aiming. But if you start, it will help you because it's going to be honeymoon period. You're going to get that additional push from Amazon, and you're going to start getting ranked for a bunch of important keywords that you maybe didn't even realize. And that product targeting campaign is going to be like an addition to just give you a little bit of more sales volume, if you can afford that, obviously. Now, the third interesting question is how to lower my ACoS and total ACoS in a product launch. Well, the simple answer to that is you shouldn't. Having a high ACoS in product launch is basically a must. There are occasions, obviously, and you could keep hearing these stories like, hey, I launched my product, just launched, and I'm a week in, and I have my ACoS at 40%. That can happen, but that's an exception, an outlier. But having an ACoS of 100%, 150% During a product launch is normal thing. Starting to sell on Amazon brand new product, launching a product, that's a process. You shouldn't expect return on your newly launched product in a week or two or month or two. After 2 months, you will start to equalize. You will start to see your ACoS going down, your total ACoS going down if you do things right. But to expect low ACoS on product launch, that's just not reality. And we need to set our expectations right and be honest towards ourselves. Don't fall in love with your product. Just be realistic, because that will enable you to have a proper strategy in place, not by having realistic expectations on a product launch. So you can lower and will lower your ACoS and total ACoS in a product launch after 2 months, because you will get sales organically, and your organic rank is going to grow if you do things right. I'm not getting impressions. The thing about that, during a product launch, even the usual campaign that you're starting out, if you're not getting impressions, and you did the other stuff okay, so you're in correct category and there's not the ad is not suspended or ineligible or out of stock. If you're not getting impressions, quick win, increase your bid. If you see that you're having a bid of $2.50 and you expected to have it at 1.5, so you went to 2.5, not getting impressions, ramp it up, have a $15 bid, have a $40 bid, $50 bid, to see is it a bid issue. If you start to see impressions and start to see traction, the worst thing that can happen, you will spend $50 or $100. You obviously have a campaign budget limitation, so you'll not get robbed, but you'll see the data soon. So if you do that, it may sound crazy, but if you do that in a day, you will get some data. You will see what's the issue. And most of the time it's that you're just not strong enough, or you put a down only strategy, bidding strategy. So put it as a fixed bid, put it high bid, and see what's happening. If you see some traction going, then it's obvious it's about money, as with probably everything about Amazon lately. Should I target high search volume keywords or mid-range? That's tied to the question number one. I already covered that. So depending on your budget, if you can, I would almost never recommend to go to the category hero keyword, in short, because most likely those guys are there for years, if not decades, and they're gonna nail you. You're gonna spend a ton of money without any real results. What you can do is focus. Okay, for example, if a main category keyword is having say 100,000 search volumes, searches per month, you should aim for, if the next one is 50, I would go with the one with 50, and maybe 20, 12, 7. That's still a lot of searches for a product launch. You should be okay if your budget is not that high. Sorry. Optimization strategy in general. Probably the favorite one. When is the right time to optimize my campaigns, and how much should I wait before I make any change? First of all, it's a different time frame in general. If we talk about time, depending, is it your sponsored product ad or your sponsored brand ad? Sponsored product ad have an attribution window of 7 days, and sponsored brand ads have an attribution window of 14 days. What that means? It means that 7 days, it means that if somebody clicks on your ad on Monday and they actually end up buying on Sunday, that's gonna show up as a sale contributed to that click on Monday, if that was the last click. The same goes with the sponsor brands. but the 14 days window. So if you start your campaign, sponsor brand campaigns today, and after 10 days, you see, hey, I'm not getting any sales. Let's turn off this campaign. Let's optimize. Let's change a bunch of things. You're actually wasted 10 days of ad spend. You need to wait at least 14 days before optimizing, except the extremes, like some keyword went crazy and started spending most of the budget. Obviously, you need to um, fix that by excluding that keyword in a separate campaign or changing your campaign structure. But if everything is in line and every keyword is having enough traction, then you should wait those 14 days for sponsor brand ads before making a decision, and 7 days, at least 7 days for sponsor product ads to make a change. Now, I never recommend waiting for a number of days to pass until you optimize. In general, yes, based on the attribution window, but you should always optimize based on the data. If you're operating in a highly competitive category, your product is really wanted, you can even optimize after a day, after, I don't know, 3 hours, depending on how much volume you get. Because if your conversion rate is 25%, that means every 4 clicks you land a sale. So if you wait 5 hours and you accumulated 50 clicks, yeah, okay, I paused for a second and took my calculator. So after 50 clicks, you should get around 12 sales. But if there are no sales, obviously you don't need to wait for a week to accumulate hundreds of clicks. So the general rule that I follow is that I wait up to 2 times more to see a sale. So if I should see a sale after 4 clicks, I would wait for 8 clicks or 10 clicks to see if something's going to happen. So there's no actually right time to optimize, but to optimize based on the data. You can even wait for 3 weeks for sponsor product campaign, and in 3 weeks you will accumulate 13 clicks, and with a low conversion rate, that's not justifiable to make any change if you have only like 12 clicks accumulated over 2 or 3 weeks. Now, the second one of the most important is how to lower my ACoS. And my opposite question is, should you lower your ACoS? Because it's all about the profits. So I've seen ACoS per product of 20% and still the product was unprofitable. It's not because of the break even is at 40. So you would say, yeah, okay, I'm making money out of it, but you're not growing organic ranks on that. For example, if you have a variations and you can see that certain variation is spending a lot of money and you get only advertised sales. In a nutshell, yeah, that's good. You're getting sales. The ACoS is low, but at the end of the day, that spend on your not that good variation is jeopardizing the profitability for the other ones as a parent ASIN and a group of products. What I recommend always is focusing on profit. And if you, most of the time, you will see one variation having the best conversion rate, best performance. So you concentrate on that one, and you concentrate your ad spend growing the organic rank for that particular variation, not just be all over the place and advertise all the variations. So it's not just about ACoS. In general, how to lower my ACoS is most of the time eliminating the ad spend. There are a number of tools. A lot of agencies, individuals are sharing those calculators. Yeah, I might create one also and share with you on some other occasion. But there are ways, even without a software, to locate the ad spend, so the wasted ad spend. So immediately when you pause the ad spend on those unprofitable search terms and targets, you will see lower ACoS, and that can be pretty hidden. Recently, I've seen good sales with broad match, but with that also comes a lot of wasted ad spend. That's pretty hard to control. Um, I mean, it's a big topic, but also lowering the ACoS. Um, you can with lowering your ACoS, you're lowering your exposure, you're lowering your reach. So as I stated, it for me it's always on a long-term goal, not get rich quick goal. Like long-term goal is to increase organic ranks. If it takes for you to have 50% ACoS and you're breaking even at 35, then that's the investment you need to have to get sales. If you have that 40% of ACoS on a bunch of campaigns and you don't focus on organic ranks for your products, then for me it's a waste. Okay, you get sales, but you end up like in a corner. Like, okay, I'm having ACoS of 50%, and now how can I lower it? And then you can contact a consultant to fix that problem for you. And what he's gonna do is, I would say, well, to lower your ACoS, you need to spend more, because you skipped the opportunity to focus on your organic ranks, and now you're depend on the ads too much. So it's really hard to lower your ACoS without hurting your sales. So you need to invest now more efficiently, smarter than before, with lessons learned, and grow your organic ranks. And by growing organic ranks, uh, lowering your ACoS comes as a result of that. So not by optimizing campaigns to the fullest. So keep that in mind. Always grow your organic ranks. Yeah, I kind of tied all the three last questions into the same answer. So how to reduce spend and increase sales? That's growing your organic rank and eliminating the waste. Now, this video is getting a little bit long, but anyway, let's cover the Amazon DSP. What's Amazon DSP? Why should I even consider using Amazon DSP? How much money do I need to start? And why shouldn't I just use sponsored display and don't bother with the DSP? Don't bother about the abbreviation DSP. Just doesn't make any sense. Look at it as like sponsored display with a boost, with steroids, you name it. It's very powerful option to target your audience, target your competitors, and use remarketing options really closely. You should consider using DSP only when you have your campaigns in a campaign manager optimized to the full potential. Okay, obviously you can never be at 100%, but if everything is running smoothly, you have your campaigns running on regular maintenance, optimization, etc., then it's time to start with DSP. Now, in the past, there was a roadblock for DSP to enter in the US marketplace. I think it was around 60 grand and 35 grand. Now it's much lower. You can even start with 10 or maybe even less, depending on who you use, with what kind of agency to start with a DSP. So yeah, only when you finished optimizing, start with DSP. Now, why should you even consider using DSP? Because you will have really narrow targeting. For example, what you can, the most famous one that I like to mention is that in DSP, you can target your product that are your direct competitors. You name them by ASIN. Like, okay, show my product to the people who saw my competitor ASINs, these guys, in the last 7 days, but they haven't bought. So those are the really hot leads. So they were interested in them. Maybe they're still thinking, maybe it's too expensive for them, they're not happy with something, and then boom, you advertise your product to them. So your ad is now chasing them, not the product listings they visit, but wherever they go on Amazon to shop. For example, you're selling, I don't know, sports equipment, and they go to the baby products or beauty products, your ad's going to be there and follow them along. So it's really powerful. You can narrow down the targeting to that. Also, there's pretty powerful audience targeting, nothing similar to what's available in sponsored display. For example, you can really narrow it down by demography. You can add layers like only people in this country, only people speaking this language, only mothers, whatever. It sometimes you can get even creepy what the data available. So it's really powerful to use to target your competition. Definitely, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't use sponsored display campaigns. Sponsored display campaigns are also getting pretty powerful, but not to extent to what you have. Also, there are similar to sponsored display. There are in-market audiences, lookalike audiences. You can even upload your custom emails to Amazon DSP, and they will, how they call it, hashed. They're going to hash. They're going to anonymize them. So you upload your customer list that you gather from the website, and then Amazon DSP can create lookalikes based on that on that one. So Amazon owns a lot of data. So yeah, it can be very, very useful. So we as an agency can offer we offer Amazon DSP as well to our clients. So if you need that or just want to chat about it, let me know, and I'll make sure to give you all the necessary information. Now, it's been too long, this video, so I didn't plan that, but yeah, I hope I managed to cover this. So as I said, there are sections you can jump around to answer to do the answers I provided every now and then, so you refresh your knowledge. Let me know what you think, and again, if you need specific advice for your account and brand, let us know. I'll be happy to answer. The contact is at the description, our website amazoniappc.com. My name is Igor, and I hope you enjoyed the content. Bye bye.